Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for joining me today. It is an absolute pleasure to be here today. I have started a series which is called Health Coach Conversations, and you are currently listening to episode number 1, which is with one of my absolute all-time favorite health coaches, Amanda Hoedt. I hope I got that right. But she calls herself Amanda Greenthumb, both on Instagram, on Facebook, you name it. She is on the platforms for you to check out. And she has a really keen interest in supporting busy mums with both health, lifestyle, and business tips that can support them to feel like they're really thriving in their life, feeling really amazing, while at the same time raising an incredible family and, basically doing it all. This is something that I'm not particularly skilled in because I currently just have to look after me, although sometimes that feels like a job in itself. And I thought I better get one of the experts in to talk a little bit more about this particular topic and how we can really look after ourselves in this way. So Amanda will be sharing with us her story today. She'll also be sharing her journey with the Institute of Integrative Nutrition Health Coach Training Program, and she's here. And she'll also be sharing her top 3 tips for both busy moms in relation to health and nutrition, as well as business if you're growing a business from home. So let's get her in. All right. So let's get excited. Really excited to speak to Amanda today. Hi, Amanda. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Really well. Great to be here with you, especially. Thanks so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to make it happen with us.
Absolutely.
So,
I'm so excited to be here.
amazing. Tell us about you, all the things. Start from the start. What got you started on your health and wellness journey?
Absolutely. I love that question. So I'm sure you've heard I am Amanda Greenthumb, and I came across my health journey in a really unexpected way. I was waitressing, partying, treating my body terribly, and I was definitely reaping the consequences from that. Um, in terms of my weight, the way that I felt about myself, my entire existence was not that awesome. um, and someone bought me a book on self-reliance, self-sufficiency. This is really the first time that I had wrapped my mind around that. Like I could grow food myself, I could do a lot of these things for myself that I was not doing. And then through that, I really built up the confidence back in myself. I really felt really awesome every time I was pulling stuff out of my garden. And through that, I started helping other people put gardens into their house, and that led me to doing that with an IAN health coach. And so she introduced IAN to me, and I was absolutely hooked. For me, like really what sold me was it was the first time that anyone or I had ever heard that your health is more than what you eat and exercise. Like it's so much bigger than that, and everything is connected. And that really in that moment just made me say, absolutely, I 100% agree.
Wow, very cool. So you had this book that was given to you, you read the book, you started supporting your own health through gardening and different things like that. And then it was really a progression from there in terms of did you feel like, oh, like this stuff needs to be taught to other people? Or like what was the kind of switch from you being the person that was taking the stuff in and really absorbing it yourself to being the person that was sharing it out?
Yeah, that's a good question. So basically, like once I got this book, it's called Self-Sufficiency for the 21st Century. If anyone wants to get that, it's awesome. And basically, once I had that, like that because there's so much information about growing food, that led me to a lot of information about food production, like not growing it in your backyard, and how I had been eating like an intense amount of processed factory food. Um, and then that kind of like led me down the rabbit hole, and I was shocked. Like I had no idea, honestly, and I can say truthfully, until that moment. Hey Bev, I just saw you came on here. Until that moment, I had no idea. And that was like, Beverly can attest, at that moment, I was like, everyone needs to know this. Like needs to know that there's a better way. And so I got really crazy about about gardening, and I was just telling everyone. But it was in that moment. It was when I realized what was actually going on, and the food that I was eating that I thought was healthy, because it's packaged and it says, natural, like chips, it's like there's still chips. That is still bad for you. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's a really important point you're bringing up, because it's really easy to go to different places and feel like we're going to be looked after, and that the companies that are giving us the food are really paying attention to what they're putting into their food, and that the food is good for us. And we can't always assume that, unfortunately. So that's really
Yeah.
cool that you started your own garden. I know you're planning to potentially come over to Australia next year, so I may need to get you to give me some special tips. With I don't have a garden, but we can find a plot somewhere.
Yeah.
So what made you interested in becoming a health coach and doing the Institute of Integrative Nutrition health coach program?
Absolutely. So, yeah, like I said before, just that idea that it was more than just food and exercise, that got me really excited.
Yep.
I previously went to university for teaching, and so I did have a lot of like background in teaching, and so that was something that really excited me. And I think like my entire life, I've been the biggest nerd, and I'm sure the people that are watching this right now are like, yes. But I just love research projects, and then like sharing them with people is like my thing. So I think that when I really came across IAN, and I saw and I really could see the business potential, and also the fact that I felt so strongly about this, and I saw such a change in my life, from doing IAN and following the process and switching to clean foods, and seeing like just every single thing in my life change. I had the worst shoulder problems, MRIs, specialists, ultrasounds, just like it was all the time. It was a constant problem. And within, and it's funny because after IN, I never even thought about it again until a couple days ago when my friend was here. But yeah, nothing, like everything in my life just totally turned itself over. And for me, like that was so powerful. Like I was struggling so hard with things emotionally, physically. Like I was in a really bad spot. I always just didn't feel good enough. Like that's the truth. When I was in that moment, that would have been 2012, 2013. I just chronically felt not good enough, like no matter what I did. And then going through that process and changing my diet just completely revamped my life. And I noticed that like that just lit the fire inside of me, that I had to show people like there is a better way. Like it's so simple, and it's funny because the power's in the simplicity, but it is hard to like to fully come to that.
Mm, that's so true. That's so true. It is so simple, so, so simple. And I think because, this, and I know we learnt about this a lot in IAM, so many different diets, everybody's selling a new diet at a different time. And,
Hmm.
one moment something's amazing for us, the next moment it's the worst thing in the world for us. So it's very, very confusing.
Yeah.
And I mean, we met through the IN program.